Guys, you can absolutely go from any 9-to-5 job into full-time real estate investing in 2 years or less. I'm James Heller, and I have a background in physics and engineering, and over the past 2.5 years, I went from working a full-time job at one of the world's largest semiconductor firms into running my own real estate investing business. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how I did it and what you can expect if you would like to go from working a 9-to-5 into running a small business yourself. So a little background on me. I studied optical physics at San Diego State University, and I've been in engineering for over 7 years now. I spent a lot of my time learning about laser systems and flying around the world to different countries and working on large-scale systems that are used to make microchips. So I worked a lot of 12-hour shifts in a clean room wearing a bunny suit for years and years, and eventually I moved from that into project management, where I would manage specific projects at one part of the system. And eventually I moved from that into managing a team of engineers where I learned some people management skills. After being at the company for about 7 years and working in clean rooms and then on projects and then with a group of engineers, I just got a little bit stagnant, right? I got to a point where I realized I could keep climbing the ladder at this company and probably do fairly well, but it just wasn't as exciting as it was in the beginning. And I was thinking about the rest of my life and thinking, can I do this until I'm 60 and retire? And is that what I want to do? So I started looking into other paths, and the townhouse that I had bought in San Diego had done so well in the 5 years that I had owned it. It's just the place that I lived, but it came close to doubling in value in that time. And I thought, okay, there's something here, right? Just this townhouse that I bought has earned almost as much money in the same time as I have working 40 hours a week at this job. So I knew that there was something there, and I started looking into alternatives, and real estate investing was something that I became interested in. So coming from engineering specifically, there's a few really big benefits that you have having kind of that engineer background and mindset. The first is that you're a problem solver, right? In my business in real estate, we're all about solving problems for our customers. So we have to get really creative sometimes when people are in difficult situations to get them the most money possible. And between making cash offers, creative offers, and all those other types of things that we do, we're always looking to solve problems, just how we were when I was working at the semiconductor company. The second is that you learn a lot of skills about being project and people focused, right? If you work for an engineering company, you probably have a lot of projects to improve things, to make things better, to make them less of a headache. It's a lot of what we do internally here too, right? We're always thinking about our processes. How do we do things more efficiently and effectively? But also from people management skills, you learn how to work with a team and really make sure that you're supporting your team and getting the best out of them every single day. Finally, as an engineer or anyone in science, you know a lot about KPIs, which are key performance indicators, which are super important when you're running a real estate team, because you need to know how many people are we reaching out to, how many offers are we making, how many contracts are getting signed, and understanding that KPIs are a leading indicator for success is super important, and that's a really good thing that you can bring from a science and engineering background into real estate investing. Now there is a few big drawbacks. One that I noticed, I had a really hard time talking with people in the beginning because I'm not a super social, outgoing person at first, or at least I wasn't at the time. And I had a lot of trouble just talking with people on the phone, right? It's like a little bit of that imposter syndrome, because especially in the beginning, you don't always know what you're gonna say. And it took me a long time to pick up the phone and talk with, potential home sellers, with agents, because I didn't always feel like I knew what I was talking about or I knew what to say. So that was definitely a challenge that I had to overcome, where a lot of people come from a sales background and they have already built that skill they have no problem talking with people all day. So where I had some of the more analytical, process-driven skills, working with people, the social skills, the sales skills was something that I really had to develop over time. So I want to talk a little bit about the transition, right? So as you're going from working a full-time 9 to 5 into working for yourself and running a business, what does that transition look like? Because it took me about 2 years to do this, and it was a little bit tricky. One of the big expectations I would have is working something like 60 hours a week for a while. And this is because you're managing all of your tasks at work and you're adding all of this stuff on top of it, right, to start to spin up your own business. Now, what does that look like? I mean, for real estate, during the week, during business hours, I'd be making as many offers as possible, right? And that's however you decide to do it. If you're working directly with sellers or if you're working with agents, you need to be making as many offers as possible during business hours, because that's when most people are talking with others, accepting offers, that type of thing. And I would use the off hours, nights and weekends, to do all of your analysis, to do the comping, to learn about neighborhoods that you're investing in, to do the learning, right? Super important, like watching YouTube videos like this. All those types of things are how I got most of my education. But spend your time during the days doing the actual work, making the offers, and your time on the evenings and weekends doing these other things that aren't so time dependent. Second thing I would say is do the work yourself. And this is a trap that I see a lot of people fall into that already have a pretty good salary or income. If you're making 6 figures or more, you might be tempted to just go out there and just start paying for a call team straight away, or paying for data, or paying to run Google ads or something like that. But I can't tell you how important it is to develop the muscle before you start spending the money, right? You need those sales skills that I was talking about before. You need to know how to run and analyze a deal before all these deals start coming to you. So I think even if you have the money to scale this up quickly, I recommend that you scale it up slowly, do all the work yourself to start, and then start to offload some of the things that you don't like doing so much and start to scale up that way. Another recommendation I have is setting a goal for your full-time transition. So when I closed my first deal, I set a goal of 2 years from that date that I would do all the work, become super well versed in real estate, and then work on moving out of my 9 to 5 completely. And I actually did it in about 22 months. So just under my 2-year goal, I was able to go into full-time real estate. And it's important to have a goal, because then you know if you're on track, right? Are you making enough progress? Are you moving in the right direction? And that kind of helps you to keep yourself accountable during this process of moving from working for somebody else to working for yourself. And then the last thing I'll say is expect to fail for a long time, okay? It's really important. And something that Alex Hormozy said kind of recently that resonated with me is success is just failing a lot without becoming a failure, right? And what that means is just expect that it takes reps, right? You're not going to get the first deal that you make an offer on. You might make 10 offers. You might make 50 offers before you get your first deal. Like for me, it took 7 months of calling before I locked up my first deal. And I just knew if I do this enough times, I'm going to be successful. So set your brain to have that expectation that you will fail a lot before you're successful. And then you'll meet your expectations and you won't feel bad, on the road to success as you're learning, as you're making offers, as they're getting rejected, and then eventually one gets accepted. So these are my recommendations. Going from full-time engineering and sciences into full-time real estate investing has been super, super rewarding for me. It's allowed me to live the lifestyle that I want, spend more time with my family, and also travel the world, which is kind of the number one thing that I've wanted for myself. So as you're deciding if it's right for you, I'm happy to answer questions. If you're watching this on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube Shorts, make sure to go and check out the full video on YouTube. And I also have other videos about doing deals, how to transition from the point where you're at to the point where you want to be, and lots of other topics inside of real estate investing. All right, thank you guys so much.